Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We begin with mystic song by Shri Swami Lalitananda, played and sung by Shri Swami Umananda and Rajneesh.
The song tonight is based on a poem by Swamiji. It's called O Goddess Lakshmi, Smile Upon Me. O Goddess Lakshmi, smile upon me, cast thy sidelong glance unto me. Awaken me from my long, long dream. In the garden of my life, let every leaf that blows in the wind turn into radiant gold. Let every flower become a perfect gem that lights up my lonely heart. O Goddess Lakshmi, grant me the vision of thy lotus feet on the sands of eternity. Inspire me to climb the mystic mountain. Let my soul become a cascading stream of your grace, carrying the love unknown to all who walk on earth. O Goddess Lakshmi, smile upon me. We are recording from the ashram of our revered Guru, Atman Shri Swami Jyotirmayananda in Miami, Florida. Today is September the 28th, 2018, Friday evening, and tonight Swamiji will be lecturing on the Tulsi Ramayana. This is series 2016, class number 124. And now Atman Shri Swami Jyotirmayananda.
Om Nilambujasyyamal Komalangam Sita Samaropitavama Bhagam Panau Maha Sayakacharu Chapam Namami Ramam Raghuvanshanatham. Eruditions to Lord Rama, whose complexion is like a blue lotus, very tender and delightful in appearance. Sita is seated on his left side, and he is carrying a powerful bow and arrow in his hands. What he will do with them we'll see in the Ramayana. Shri Ramcharitmanas, Baal Kanda, and presently in verse number 312 onwards. And before I start, all of you are invited into Rama's marriage party. The news breaks. Sita and Rama are going to be married. And there is a great fervor and great joy, great thrill. All gods and humans are all joined together in celebrating this. Tulsidas ji pours down his gracious, giving you opportunity for enjoy the rasa he enjoyed. He's sharing it. I'm one of the cups. उपरोहित ही कहे नर नाहा अब विलंब कर कारण कहा. King Janaka told his royal priest Shatananda that everything is already arranged, the exact timing, the exact conjunction of planetary conditions, and now there is no reason for any delay. शतानंद तब सचिव बुलाए मंगल सकल साजी सब लाए. Shatanand ji called all the ministers and they all came. With all the auspicious materials that are needed for this celebration. They brought all those auspicious things. Shankha nishan panav bahu baje, mangal kalasa saguna subha saje. Conches, little drums, big drums, cannons, they all began to sound. And along with it, Mangal Kalash, people bringing beautiful jars filled with auspicious material. The sun does every day. It brings the Kalash, Jyoti Kalash Jhalke, and pours down upon the world and see how it happens. What happens to the clouds? What happens to all the trees? What happens to your nose? You can breathe oxygen. That type of सुभग सुआसिनी गावहीं गीता करहीं वेद धुनि विप्र पुनीता. And gracious women are singing songs, sweet songs, glorifying this occasion. And those who are Brahmins, priests, they are chanting Vedic mantras. And they are all in coordination. Beautiful music, Vedic mantras. Nothing asuris, all sur. Perfect harmony. No. What you are being led to from profound point of view. Of course, people who study the Ramayana, they go fast. Oh, okay, all this is going on. But then what's going to happen? But you miss the point. Because every page is giving you a setting for your upasana, for your devotional movement. So enter into that page and put yourself in that circumstances and try to understand all the ramifications. and let your mind be drenched with it. Now, another point. You are promoting a movement leading to that type of marriage to happen within your very heart. Soul Rama marries Viveka Buddhi. So all that you are now visualizing in an objective way, they will become a part of your own reality. But until then, go on this, what we call affirmation. Go on creating affirmations in your mind. Affirmations have no limit. No matter where you are, no matter how entangled you are by your karmas, and yet affirmation, Aham Brahmasmi, I am not body, I am not mind, I am not intellect. I am Satchidananda. You have been fashioned in the image of God. Grow. So all religions have the same message. No matter where you are, allow that type of affirmation to enter your heart. And all this allows you to create that affirmation with great flavor. लेन चले सादरे ही भांति गए जहाँ जनवास बराती कौशलपति कर देखी समाजू अति लघु लागति नहीं सुरराजू. All those people from the side of Janaka went to join with the Bharatis, all the marriage party that came along with King Dasharatha. And when they come, and it's in the lodgings where the King Dasharatha and Rama and Lakshmana, Bharata, etc., all are there. And as this party comes to see this whole wondrous setting, the glory of that glorious scene is beyond imagination. Ati laghu lagati nahi sura raju. Before the glorious expression of Dasharatha's majesty, even Indra's Swarga appeared tuchh. Tuchh means something wrong enters your mouth. You throw it out. So quickly said, but let us enjoy the profundity in the art. You are being given the understanding that when intuitive knowledge develops and your soul is moving towards it, that attainment is far greater than your working hard, doing good karmas, and securing your place in heaven. It's just like you get a lot of money and then you secure a hotel where all conveniences are there. But no matter how secure it is not your permanent place. You will move away from it. When good karmas that led you to heaven become exhausted, you are back again. And that has gone on happening endlessly. So, compare your opportunity or a joyous development of going into Indra's place and enjoying all the bhogas, enjoyments, heavenly enjoyments on one side, and coming to the Bharat of Rama, who is going to marry Sita, bringing about the destruction of Ravana ignorance and leading you to immortality. See the difference between attaining immortality, eternal rest, absolute goal, compared to a big illusion of immense pleasure. भयउ समऊ अब आधार्य पाऊ, यह सुनी परा निशा नहीं घाऊ. They came to King Dasharatha, and with great humility they said, now this is the time, the auspicious time we will be waiting for. Come, padhariye. The word padhar, pa is feet. Bring your feet graciously on this. Yah suni para nishanai ghau. And when he said that, the big cannon that were waiting, suddenly they were going bang, bang. The word is ghau. They were attacked. It's a humorous way of using language. In other words, the joy that exploded cannot be described. गुरु ही पूछ करी कुल विधि राजा, चले संग मुनि साधु समाजा. Under the guidance of Sage Vasishtha, King Dasharatha, along with all his party, they prepared themselves to go towards King Janaka's palace. And in that group, in all that assembly, there are all many saintly people. Sadhu Samaj, the entire Samaj was Sadhu Samaj. भाग्य विभव अवधेश कर, देखि देव ब्रह्मादि, लगे सराहन सहस मुख, जानि जन्म निज बादि. Seeing this fortune and a glorious expression of divine majesty, Brahmaji and other gods, they all became wonderstruck. And they began to praise the glory of King Dasharatha. The people reading it just go, oh, that's trying to Try to create a kind of exaggerated description. But there is nothing, no exaggeration at all. The role of Brahma is not the highest. And the role of all the gods in this context, they are not being referring to the absolute. They are referred to Saguna gods that people approach for fulfillment of their desires. And that type of Saguna role of gods, they are described as gods, including Brahma. And all they can give cannot match up with that situation, that type of atmosphere where Rama is going to marry Sita. In other words, all the universe can give you, past, present, and future, all the glory, doesn't match up with your attaining enlightenment by allowing the soul to be wedded to intuitive intellect. So imagine that type of mystic, picturesque setting. And so when you do sadhana, don't stay grumpy. You are working for that type of attainment. चित्त वहीं चकित विचित्र विताना रचना सकल अलौकिक नामा नाना नगर नारी नर रूप निधाना सुघर सुधर्म सुशील सुजाना. Some rasam. They were watching these gods, all the beautiful setup, the way all the people were decked with their ornaments, the way their quarters were arranged. Every setup was beyond their imagination. And here is a not ordinary opinion of Brahma and other gods. Nagara nari nararupa nidhana. All men and women of this setup, Janakpur and Ayodhya, that have come together, they are the abode of good looks, Rup Nidhana, Sughar, and they are strongly built. They cannot be shaken. Sudharam, they are following the path of dharma. Sushil, they have embodiment of divine gentle grace. And they are Sujan. All souls that are radiating, wafting the fragrance of goodness. Tinahi dekhi sab sur nar nari, bhaye nakhat janu binu bidhu ujiyari. all the people that are described in this mystical way and to understand. They are all the mental flare. When Viveka Buddhi begins, when soul begins to join Viveka Buddhi, different type of vrittis radiating from your bhavana, vrittis radiating from your understanding, they come together and become the marriage party. And those vrittis far transcend all your vrittis for pleasing gods and gaining objects of your desire. Simple way to understand, sakamya vritti versus niskamya vritti. Bhuma versus alpam. Bhuma is absolute. Mind moving towards liberation. What type of mindset one must have. And a mind moving towards worldly attainment, no matter how great it appears. All worldly attainment that doesn't give you immortality, keeps you mortal. That attainment is little. The other attainment, infinite. Which is put in a very simple way in the Gita. Live your life not with sakamya mind that is trying to fulfill its desires. But live your mind nishkamya. No desires. Let God's will operate through you. तिन्हि देखि सब सुर नारी भय न कत जन्म विधु जियारी. Compared to those people and the fervor of their joy and fortune, gods who have come to watch along with goddesses, they are stunned, surprised, because all their glory is much lesser than what they are seeing. And allegorically, the sky is filled with stars. But when the moon waxes and big moon comes, you don't look at the stars. The stars lose their glitter, and the moon becomes the great. Here, the Ramchandra is coming up. Your bhavana, your feeling, bhava shuddhi is allowing you to visualize that attainment of Godward movement, God coming in your heart. God is already there, but God is expressing. Your awareness of God within your heart has become effective. Then all those things that glittered before your mind, they have no meaning. This is not a study of astronomy, this is allegorical. Even Brahma was wonderstruck. He looked around and not a single thing that he saw was in his creation. A divine movement stealthily created all this, which doesn't match up with Brahma's creation, excels. How can you understand that? You do karma, action, and action gives you result. This is Brahma's creation. Do action as an act of worshipping God. Brahma becomes paralyzed. What do I do now? Because he can't put you in his world. He has to let you go beyond. So that's subtler point to understand. शिव समुझाए देव सब जनि आचरज भूलाहु हृदय विचारहु धीर धरि सिय रघुबीर विवाहु. Lord Shiva, who represents the spiritual insight, wisdom, he explained to the gods, who were all stunned in a state of surprise. They didn't know what to do. King Kartabya Mood. They didn't know what to do. So much glory you would never imagine. You thought we'll be seeing this and this wonderful things. And you saw something beyond your imagination. What a party. Lord Shiva, therefore, brought comfort to the minds of those people who were extremely surprised. He said, जिन्ह कर नाम लेत जग माही सकल अमंगल मूल न साही. Shiva is bringing this divine news to them that don't understand Rama and Sita. They are absolute. Brahman and his Maya. करतल हो ही पदार्थ चारी तेसिय राम कहेउ कामारी. Shiva, who is called Kamari, destroyer of desires for worldly values. And Shiva said to all those, the assembly of gods and goddesses, that by uttering the name of Rama, all things that are inauspicious are destroyed. Another, to understand more about it, all things that will keep you in bondage, they are, from advanced point of view, they are all inauspicious. And they will be all destroyed if your mind moves into the process of japa, reciting the divine name, and allowing your heart to join in that process with bhavana. In a poetic way, in an allegorical way it is described, that divine name plays the role of placing a lamp at the threshold. Suppose you have a house, out there is an open space, and it is a darkness in the night. But when you put a lamp at the threshold, it is illumining the inside and illumining the outside. So if you bring divine name in your heart, automatically divine name brings your heart into a tremendous relation. Heart becomes very soft. It is an experience of immense love. So as that name enters your heart, internally illumination takes place, which means what you desire, what you are looking for, what you are stressed about, all becomes understood by you in the light of profounder insight. And the world before you that presents the field of things that you need to attain from the world, you begin to understand what is behind this world. The world is sustained by God. Every object, every attainment has its source in God Himself. So Lord Shiva says that by very recitation of the name of Rama, see, while Ramayana is highlighting the name of Rama, you must understand that whoever is your Ishta Devata, he plays the same role. Ishta Devata is the absolute. That's how you have to view. Then all other Devatas are his radiations. Kartal ho hi padarth chari. By reciting the divine name, by allowing the divine movement enter your heart. It's very simple sadhana. But if you secure it, kartal ho hi padarth chari, 4 purposes of life, they come within your control. Kartal, within your hand. If you have grasped something and they're all within your 5 fingers, then it's called kartal. It's not slipping out. And what are those 4? Dharma, artha, kama, moksha. Dharma, ethical value. Artha, material value. Kama, social value. Moksha, spiritual value, infinite value of life. And these 4 make your life purposeful. You live first on the foundation of dharma. Do not build up your life's movement in an unethical manner. Then that whole progress is envenomed. You have already permitted viruses into your building. So dharma must be the basis. And on the securing the basis, go after artha. All the resources are needed. Work for it. You need prosperity, you need all things that make your life comfortable. Go after it. Have a good job, have a good building, have good security in your bank. Go after all that. Because if dharma is the basis, all that you gain will make you more generous. If dharma is not the basis, then all that you gain will make your ego inflated. And then kama. Look into the urges of your heart and find perfect fulfillment. If dharma is not the basis, then you fulfill the inner urges of your soul in a deluded manner. You live your life, think, well, I didn't attain it, but my son is going to attain it. Deluded. That's good, the idea son should attain it. That's perfectly fine. But why shouldn't you? In other words, in the pursuit of fulfilling your desires, if you are following the spiritual path in a correct way, you will enrich yourself and enrich others, help others. Every bud has a kama, it wants to blossom. Properly moving towards it, it will blossom and radiate fragrance. But the bud that is based on adharma, it whispers into some progressive kid. Bring the best blossom and put it here. Create an artificial blossom. I'm joking, but trying to make you understand. Adharma-based movement is like artificial flowers. You can't expect much fragrance from it. But dharma-based movement is a real flower. And finally, moksha, liberation, is the goal of life, which is ignorance destroyed, a revelation, I am not the body, mind, I am Brahman, Satchidananda. So that's what Rama is, Shiva is explaining. And in this explanation, you are being given insight into the role of your Ishta mantra. And bring your mantra with a profounder taste and fervor within your heart. It should not stay just a dry, mechanical sound from your tongue. At the same time, it's better to have even the sound coming from the tongue, mechanically. Mantra, even done mechanically, has its benefit. So it never goes in vain. However, why should it be mechanical? Don't stay kid. Begin to develop a profound relation with your mantra. E vidhi sambhu surana samujava puni aage bar vasaha chalava. That's how Lord Shiva explained this matter to all those gods who were surprised and in a wonder-struck manner. And as he did that, he went on riding on his big ox, Nandishwara, the ox of Shiva, called Vrishab, that represents dharma in its totality. Dharma, artha, kama, moksha, they are the feet of that ox. And the ox is known as Nandi. Nanda means Ananda. So all the four purposes of life, defined by Ananda, bliss, that's what Lord Shiva comes with. देवन देखे दशरथ जाता, महामोद मन पुलकित गाता. And gods, instead of staying paralyzed in surprise, now they became involved with looking at how things are, as Shiva gave them that explanation. And what do they see? King Dasharatha is so joyous. His whole body is thrilled with joy. Sadhu samaj sangam hi deva, janu tanu dhare karahi sukha seva. And all those associated people, sadhus, saintly people, brahmanas, all the happiness of the world, as if all the happiness of the world, all types have come together in human embodiment. The happiness number X, happiness number Y, happiness number or so forth. Not ordinary happiness. Profound joy has come together. King Dasharatha shines with his four sons. A divine beauty is as if exploding. As if liberation has come in four aspects. And four aspects of liberation the scriptures speak of. Salokya, Samipya, Sarupya, Sayujya. Understood it? It's an allegorical description. Suppose liberation is a divine palace, and where liberation sits. Now, Salokya means you go into the same island. Think it is a kind of a heavenly island where that big palace is. So now you are in Salokya, in the same island, and you can see the big building, and you can now and then see also one who dwells in it. So that's a big attainment. Because Salokya, you are living in the same loka where God is. Samipya, now you have become next door. Previously you had a distant look, now you have a very closer look. Samipya. Third, Sarupya. Now you don't have to look at God, you look at yourself. And you are reminded of that's the way God looks. His personality, your personality look the same. And finally, Sayujya. You don't exist other than God. Try to understand, these are all allegorical, absolutely poetic way. Closeness, movement towards liberation has different stages. As purity goes on advancing, you move from Salokya to Samipya. Samipya means coming closer. Then you come to having the divine similarity. And finally, merged in God. all these four are being associated with Rama, Lakshmana, Bharata and Shatrugna. Marakat Kanak Baran Barajori Dekhi Suran Bhai Preeti Nathori. And these four brothers, how they look like. Marakat Kanak. Marakat is emerald. It's kind of a pearl that has a bluish taste, a bluish color. And Kanak gold. The golden one is more kind of snowy white, shiny. So Rama is mystic blue. Lakshmana is mystic white. That's the relationship between jnana and dhyana. Jnana, blue means infinity, blue sky. But how can you fly into the blue sky unless there is some shine? Dhyana brings the light, and the light is not blue. Doesn't matter. The blue and white, Rama and Lakshmana, they match up in the most profound way. Same way, karma and bhakti. Bhakti is profound, like the sky. Blue. Bharata is also blue. Shatrugna is the remover of impurities. Karma yoga. Karma yoga and bhakti yoga has same relation. Bhakti begins to shine when there is karma. Karma yoga goes on removing impurities. And so King Dasharatha with all these four, that's the type of setup. This type of beauty can't be studied by photography. And God's enjoying all these four. And they showering flowers, suman. How do the gods shower flowers? I have explained to you before, but I can do it again. When you are listening to this and become happy and joyous, gods have offered flowers. Flowers called suman. Your mind has softened and sattva has entered in it. So that's how gods do. They push things into your mind, you don't see it. And they are present, but you don't see them. Keki kantha duti syamala anga, tarita binindaka vasana suranga, vyaha vibhushana vibidha banaye, mangala sab bhati sohaye. Now Rama is being described, Lord Rama. His whole body is very tender and bluish complexion. What type of tenderness? Look at the throat of a peacock and stretch out his throat to bring the image of Rama from the toes to his head. Keki kantha duti syamala anga. It's a highly poetic way, but also promoting your upasana bringing a spice into your upasana. To meditate on God, your mind should not stay kind of aloof. Oh God, I'm worshipping you, but I'm in miserable pain. I can't look at you. I'm joking. That's the predicament always, with all minds. But ideal is to understand and bring a positivity in your mind. Even though the mind is not positive, we imagine it is. That's called sadhana. And positive wins. Tarita vinindaka vasana suranga. Cloth that he's wearing is yellow, golden yellow. And that's what describes suranga. Rang is swarnim rang. Swarnim is golden. Golden means it's a spiritual, mystical expression of purity. Tarita vinindak. When his beauty flashes out, because there's a big crowd there, see, every now and then people look into it, and beauty flashes out. It seems like a flashing of lightning, but not ordinary lightning, the lightning that excels all the glorious flashes of lightnings that you see from the sky. That is within that. In other words, that type of show, that the beauty that flashes from Rama far transcends the ordinary concepts of flashes of beauty. Sharad vimala vidhu badanu suhavan, nayan naval rajiva lachavan, sakal alaukika sundaratai, kahin na jai manahi man bhai. His face is like the full moon in the autumn season. We are without clouds. Therefore it's called Ramachandra. The word Ramachandra describes northern path. Rama, northern path is Uttarayana Marg. And that is, it begins with Agni, you develop Vairagya. Jyoti, Agnir Jyoti, you develop Vivek, discriminative understanding. Who am I? I am not the body. Aha! You bring your integral yoga in daily life. You live your daily life for a spiritual attainment. You don't live it for ha-ha. No. For hi. But live your life with ah. It's called ah. Bring a fervor, a purpose, and a joyous taste, no matter what circumstances, because your relation is with God. And then, if you are moving that way, Shukla Paksh, moon began to wax, your heart is like the sky. Now in that sky, the moon of bhavana, divine feeling, the type of feeling that you didn't experience. Your feeling was always controlled, crowded by a lot of smoke, moha. Everything you love, hardly you hold it, you find so many mosquitoes have covered out. I'm joking. The idea is everything that you love and you try to hold it has so many problems around it. And you are hardly you enjoy a little tenderness, but then you have to go through lots of mental stress. No enjoyment here is free of mental stress. And when you give mathematical proportion, your enjoyment becomes lesser, much lesser than your all the stress and effort to hold what you love. But when bhavana, feeling, becomes purified, the moon has started shining. The divine feeling is spontaneous, stress removal. So Rama is described. Now, after what happens, to complete this northern path, then your consciousness begins to expand day by day and described like northern path of the sun. When the period of daylight goes on increasing and comes to a climax. That's allegorical, nothing to do with astrological setting of the earth and the sun. But this is used as allegorical way. In other words, you begin to experience another dimension within you, which is not the body, not the mind, not ordinary mind. A dimension that people don't work with. The dimension of faith, inner trust, a profound conviction, a touch of divine presence. In simple yogic terminology, samadhi. All this condensed into one simple word, Ramchandra. His eyes excel all the lotuses. His beauty is beyond the world, alaukik. And his embodiment of love. To every mind, the presence of Rama is the source of immense joy. With this I'm concluding. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shri Ramayana. Hari Om.